What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. And as you all know, the beta is dropping in a few hours for those of us that do get codes. I'm hopeful that I get one. You guys seem to think that I will get one, so I'm going off of that hope that you guys have given me. So right now it is 3:30. So it's 4.5 hours until it drops. It drops 8 PM till 11 PM UK time, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And I've had a few comments about giving you guys some kind of prep for the beta, talking about the controls, about how certain things work, like the push, like loose movement. So I just wanted to talk about the beta a little bit, some things for you guys to expect, as well as just talk about, the controls. So if you get it, you're not going in completely blind. I didn't plan on making this video. I had a bunch of comments about it. People tweeted me about it, so I thought, you know what, even if this helps 2 people, at least it helps 2 people. So first things first, I just want to say I will not be streaming it. I'll be making videos. The first video will probably go out a little bit after 11:30 at night. The beta is, like I said, 8 to 11. So about half an hour, 40 minutes later, when the beta ends, my first video will come out. Because streaming for me, I enjoy streaming, but I don't want that extra work of having to talk to chat. I'd just rather focus, at least for the beta, just focus on creating content for you guys. Now, in terms of receiving a code or your Steam telling you that you have it, you're most likely to receive it probably about 2 to 3 hours before it goes live. So for me, it'd probably be 5 to 6 PM. I will receive an email notification telling me that I have successfully gotten in. But they also did say there is a chance you may receive one on Saturday or Sunday if the servers hold up fine and they increase the numbers. So just because you don't get one today doesn't mean you won't get one Saturday or Sunday. There is a chance you don't get one at all. That's just the way it works with limited beta, especially with like online stress tests. It's just luck of the draw, and unfortunately there's been so many people apply, not everyone's going to get in. But like I said, it's a limited beta, and that is exactly what it is, guys. It is a stress test for the online. It's not even out for early access yet. Please do not treat this like a final product. I cannot believe I have to say this, but I've seen so many comments about it. It is a beta, a limited time beta where they want your feedback in the Steam forums. I'll probably make more feedback on videos, but they've made a few things in the Steam forums to give your feedback. Just mindlessly saying, oh my god, it's so trash. That doesn't help. I don't get why you wouldn't want a new boxing game or want to help them improve it. But, I suppose fair enough. Now, there's a couple more things I want to talk about before we get into the controls. Firstly, the 4 fighters, you guys should know, but if not, Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti, Sophie Alish, and Terry Harper. So we'll have 2 variety of weight classes and 4 somewhat unique styles. But I just have to say, as I keep saying over and over again, this is not a fight night. This is not a UFC game. I'm not going to slag those old games off. There's no point. I still enjoy playing fight night games and UFC games, but you cannot go into this expecting fight night or UFC. I've seen people say, well, in fight night, it is irrelevant. You cannot expect the punch tracking to be like those games. Don't expect the style or the pace to be like those games. This is completely different. The only similar thing it has is that it is boxing. But remember, this is a completely new experience. This is something completely new to learn. This is a new learning curve. It has more advanced movement. The gameplay is going to be completely different. Like I said, the biggest thing is going to be the tracking, and if you guys play UFC 4, I've seen lots of complaints about the tracking in UFC 4. It's going to be about having to create those angles and be accurate and smart with your shots. Just because you are on the inside and you throw the hook, the uppercut, and straight doesn't mean they're going to land like that. If the opponent moves slightly out of the way, the game will not help you. That's just the way it is. Please do not go into this expecting Fight Night UFC. If you love those games, that is fair enough, but you wouldn't buy GTA 6, load it up and expect Red Dead Redemption 2, and you wouldn't expect it to be a Watch Dogs game. You'd expect it to be completely different. So don't go into this expecting a game that you've already played, because we wouldn't be hyped for this if this was just a Fight Night Round 3 reboot. We would expect Fight Night. But please, that's all I ask. Just, even if you love those games, that's fine. I love the Fight Night games, other than Champion, but I love the Fight Night games. But you cannot go into this expecting Fight Night, expecting the same pace of footwork, the same pace of boxing, the same things to work. It's a completely new experience. So go in with an empty mind. Get all of that out of your mind and just enjoy this for what it is, a new experience. And now, as I said, we're going to talk about the controls. Now, a screenshot that I'm going to put up on screen in just a minute is from the 29th of July, 2021. Now, if you guys remember, I went to play it back in March of this year. So I'll be able to offer a few insights, but we also discovered a few new things like how to push. So I'm going to get this screenshot up on screen right now. Okay, so on screen we can see the layout of the controls. Now, of course, that is an Xbox controller, but everything is comparable to PlayStation. It should be easy for you guys to figure out. Now, one thing I want to say that's not on this screen is that if you hold the R1 or RB and you click in the right stick, that is how you push. Now, that is not on here, but one of the developers mentioned that that is how you push, because we saw it in the newest gameplay recently, and we were curious, and someone asked, and we actually got the answer. So that's something new they've added since then. Now, as you can see the controls. Let's just talk about the paddles at the back, whether you want to call them L2, R2, L1, R1, or whatever they're called on Xbox. Now, as you see, the weave has its own mechanic, which is the L2. It's not connected to the body punch modifier like the other Fight Night games. It is its own thing, which actually helps make it feel much freer. You know that you can weave and throw headshots. You're not going to accidentally throw a body shot like I used to all the time. It's its own thing. And then we can see that the L1 is the body punch modifier. Now, if memory serves me, you can see that it says R2 or RT is to block. That's just your head. Now, I'm pretty sure if you hold R2 and L1, it blocks your body, because the L1 is the body modifier for punch, and I believe it's also the body modifier for block. Now, that could be wrong from once I last played, but that was what it was, I believe, for when I played. However, you can also see down the bottom left where it says fight controls, you can see 4 rows down it says block movement, and you'll see the R2 and the right stick. That is how you do the directional blocking. If you've always got a straight block in front of your face, people are going to be able to go round that guard with the hooks. So, of course, you want to be able to block sides of your faces, and that is how you do the directional blocking. However deep it will be in this beta, I do not know. I know that for the full release they want to have it be completely controllable. I don't know what it'll be for this. It was pretty good even when I played back in March. You did have a good amount of control over your block, but like I said, there is no one button block. You have to at least use block and body block as well as a bit of hand movement to keep the sides of your face protected. And then for the last one, we see that R1 or RB, I think it is on Xbox, is the power punch modifier, just to load up with those hooks, those straight shots, whatever you want. And before we get into the punches, we're going to just cover the D-pad quickly, and you can see that up on the D-pad is for loose movement. Now, we have seen loose movement quite a bit. It's where this little icon that I'll show on screen goes white. It's originally a silhouette, and then it goes white, and it activates a loose movement modifier for your fighter. It does change their stats. We're still unfamiliar on what it is. I was told back when I played that it increases damage but also increases vulnerability. One of the developers said I don't think that's true. So we're just going to have to learn, really. That's the way it's going to be. But you'll also see that you'll have a difference in your fighter's movement. They will become maybe more fluid, or maybe more, I want to say, somewhat iconic. You know, for example, Emmanuel Augustus, maybe his loose movement is the Drunken Master movement, but out of loose movement, he's a standard flat-footed fighter. That's just an example, but we can see Sonny Edwards moves far more fluidly here when in this loose movement. More somewhat, you can call it a showboat. That's the way I would kind of call it. Loose movement is somewhat of a showboat movement to get you around that ring quickly and to just flow much freer. You still can block and you can still do damage in that loose movement, but it just changes the way the fighters walk. So not everyone is cutting off the ring the same. Not everyone is backing up the same. Not everyone is moving the same. It's very unique, and honestly, loose movement feels great. But you guys will have to experience that for yourselves with each individual fighter. Now let's get to the punches. We can see the square, triangle, circle, X. That's what I'm going to call them because I'm on PlayStation. Is jab, straight, right hook, left hook. And then we see down the bottom, we see X and square is uppercut, and then circle and triangle, or Y and B, and X and A are the uppercuts, as they are in Fight Night and UFC, which just works well. It just makes sense. There's no point in trying to, recreate the wheel. Those things work. They are iconic. Everybody knows them simple buttons. It makes sense. And then we have the full right stick punch control if you choose to, and you can see down the bottom right how they all work and what directions the right stick is pointing in. For me personally, I use the buttons for jab, straight, right hook, left hook, and then I use the right stick for my uppercuts. I've never been a fan of throwing the jab or the straights with the stick. I prefer to do it with the buttons, just feel like I have more control over myself, but you can play however you want. Now, of course, we do also have directional punching, which will, I believe, come in more handy if you are using the full punch control. Now, of course, pretty much what that is not every jab is going to come out the same way. Not every straight is going to come out the same way. Not every left hook and right hook is going to come around the same angle. You may be able to arch it up higher, lower, and so on and so forth. They really wanted the punches to be unique, and especially with the ability to create angles and pivots, you're really going to want to be able to pick those shots precisely and change the angle of the shots that you throw. We can also see we have the slips as well as block movement, weave movement, and clinch down the bottom left there. Clinch is just clicking in both sticks. The slips, now that didn't really work too well when I played. It did work, but it's still, the head movement as a whole felt a bit slower, so hopefully it has been improved since I played. Now the slip is you click in the left stick and push it in the direction, so click and push, and that's kind of how it works, if that makes sense. And then, of course, for your head movement, weave movement, it says there, that is your weave modifier and your left stick to move that upper body. Now, that is one thing that was criminally slow when I played, but that was 8 months ago. So let's hope for a big improvement. Not everyone needs to move super fast. I just want the head movement and the weave movement to be smooth. It doesn't need to be crazy quick, just needs to be smooth. I hope that helped to some regard for those that maybe felt like they were going in a little bit blind because we've not really been given anything. I hope this did help in some way. I'm extremely excited for this. I am so excited. I cannot wait. I'm really hoping I get in. And one more thing I want to say is, win or lose, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to enjoy the game. I'm going to give my feedback. I'm going to experience that. I'm going to give you guys that content. However, I can already picture that people are going to lose and they're going to blame the game. But remember, guys, if you lose 5 times in a row, that means that 5 people had to win against you. The problem is not the game. The problem is you. Just focus. If you want to be the best, just focus on getting better. Don't lose and blame it on the game. There will not be some mad OP meta figured out on day one. I can guarantee it. There just won't be. It's just not the way it's going to be. People are going to spend an hour getting used to the movement, let alone figuring out what the OP meta is. So remember, when you give your feedback, be somewhat constructive. That's the best way we're going to get the best possible game that we can have. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope this helped to some regard. And like I said, win or lose, guys, if I get a code, I'll show you guys every single fight I have. I'm really not that bothered. I just want to have a good time and box, man, and that's what I'm excited for. But yeah, thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.